Hello, beautiful people. This is another episode. This is another chance. This is another opportunity. So, today, just like any other day, we are going to be touching on a very simple but profound topic, which is the fear of, losing. So, most of us in our daily lives, we face different, you know, opinions from people, you know, and feedbacks plus also criticism, so on and so forth. So those kind of feedbacks, opinions, criticism, and also judgments affect uh, affect on how we deal with failures. You know, because we want to prove ourselves to the people that we are capable, and when we don't, you know, meet our expectations, of course, most of us will feel ashamed. If you had a plan to build a business and the business crashes, if you had a business that was running smooth and it crashes, one way or the other, you will feel, you know, you will kind of lose the value you're trying to build in terms of building businesses. And people will say one thing or two, you know, towards your loss, you know. But it is painful when when you venture into something, especially in terms of, doing business, and you fail, you know, the resources, the time, the consistency that you invested in, all that leaves you in a kind of dilemma. So people will use that against you and will also speak different things, positive and negative things about you. And so you will have that fear of being criticized, of, being reminded about your failures, because, everyone wants to be perfect, we want to be great on our, you know, on our work, on the scope of work that we are doing. So when we face a loss, sometimes it takes us back in terms of thinking, in terms of plans, in terms of actions, and so on and so forth. So the way we deal with failures is very critical, because most of the people, when they face failures, they back off. But a few people, I would say 1%, a few people will move on and, fight forward. And when people fight forward, there is a high chance that they are going to learn from their failure and, you know, and build something strong. So most of the successful entrepreneurs or even readers, they have failed a couple times, but that failure did not become, an obstacle. They used that failure as fuel to achieving their goals. And so, when you face an obstacle, that obstacle, most of the times, is there to remind you, some of the things that you forgot, which were necessary, and, and you forgot them. So, when you see that error, it's like stairs. You cannot build stairs and, leave a gap in between, So that thing that you forgot and made the stairs, unstable for you to fall, you have to fix that. So that's why we have to keep moving forward, even though, we face failures now and then. So what we fail about is what we don't know more about. When we don't have, enough information about something, we will have, most of the time, we'll have wrong judgment on that particular matter. So, good or best entrepreneurs often use most of their time looking for, very necessary information related to their scope of work. And it gives them a lot of, opportunities to know what they can improve, what they can stop doing, what they can continue doing, so on and so forth. So, fearing the failure has no chance. Because when you fear to fail, you don't act. When you don't act, you don't progress. When you don't progress, of course, you can understand you will get stuck. So, what would you do if you knew that failure leads to success and fear leads to stuckness? What would you choose? Would you choose fear over failure or failure over fear? So, we have to fail for us to succeed. An egg has to be broken for a chicken to be, take failure as the shell that breaks for the chick to move out and live for the next life. So the matter of fear is actually not necessary if you want to go far, because the more you fear about taking action, about making that decision, about taking that vocation, about doing whatever you plan to do for your family, for your business, for your life, that's what I can call your limitations. So break the shell and become free. Break the shell. Take the shell as fear. Break that shell and you will become free. So most successful people have fear, but they don't fear because they use fear as a fuel. If I fear that, what can I do to go above it so that I have a stage over that fear? And so what we fear most of the times are what gives us great opportunities. So don't let fear stop you. Use fear as fuel to move forward. So thank you so much. Have a great week ahead.